When people talk about Witcher 2, Assassins of Kings, they usually talk about branching paths, moral choices, and how wildly different the game becomes depending on who you side with. But all that rests on one foundation, the prologue. Because the prologue isn't just a tutorial, it isn't just setup, it's a statement, a promise about the kind of story you're about to experience. And it begins not with destiny, not with heroism, but with accusation. Geralt of Rivia, a witcher, a mutant, a professional killer of monsters, wakes up chained in a dungeon, accused of murdering a king. No music swelling, no triumphant introduction, just stone walls, guards, and the knowledge that the world has already decided who you are. We open in the dungeons of Castle La Valette. Geralt is stripped, scarred, and exhausted. This is important. The game deliberately removes every symbol of power from him. No swords, no armor, no medallion humming with danger. Just a body that can bleed. Enter Vernon Roach, commander of the Temerian Blue Stripes. Roach doesn't posture, he doesn't insult Geralt, he doesn't need to. He already has the leverage. He opens with something blunt, almost bored. You were alone with King Foltest when he died. Not a question, a statement. Geralt responds calmly, almost coldly. He says he didn't kill the king. Roach's response makes the tone clear immediately. I don't care what you say, I care what I can prove. That line defines the entire game. This isn't about truth, it's about narrative. Roach wants Geralt to talk because talking is the only currency Geralt has left. And so Geralt begins where everything truly started. Geralt talks about being the king's bodyguard. Even saying that out loud sounds wrong. A witcher, despised, distrusted, mutated, protecting one of the most controversial kings. But Foltest doesn't care about optics. In the flashback we finally meet him, and Foltest is exactly who the stories say he is. Crude, loud, impulsive, arrogant. He curses constantly, he treats war like paperwork. He views people as obstacles or tools. At one point Foltest snarls something close to, if they want war, I'll give it to them. There's no sorrow in his voice, no hesitation. Geralt isn't there because Foltest respects him. He's there because Geralt doesn't flinch. The flashback throws us into the siege of La Valette Castle. This isn't cinematic fantasy warfare, it's chaos. Catapults fire, walls crumble, soldiers scream, blood splashes across stone floors. And Foltest, he's irritated. Not devastated, not conflicted, irritated. As his soldiers fall, he mutters something like, every rebellion thinks it's justified. This line sticks with you because it reveals how disconnected power truly is. Geralt fights through the courtyard, cutting down rebels who aren't monsters, just people. Some shout defiance, some beg for mercy, some hesitate before dying. The game refuses to give you moral comfort. You are not cleansing evil, you are ending lives. Eventually Geralt confronts Aryan La Valette, the face of the rebellion. Aryan isn't insane, he isn't cartoonishly evil, he's exhausted. He talks like a man who knows he's already lost, but refuses to crawl. He says something that cuts straight through the politics. Foltest made enemies of everyone, this was inevitable. Depending on player choice, Aryan can surrender or die. But here's the important part, neither choice feels right. There's no victory music, no sense of justice, just consequences. As Geralt escorts Foltest deeper into the castle, the tone changes completely. The noise of battle fades, the halls are empty, too empty. Foltest grows tense, his arrogance slips, his voice sharpens. All he cares about now are his children. At one point he snaps, if they've harmed my children, no one leaves this castle alive. For the first time Foltest isn't a king, he's a terrified father. Then a figure unmasks itself, silent, precise, unmistakable, another Witcher. Geralt recognizes him instantly. Before Geralt can react, the assassin strikes. King Foltest dies in seconds. No speech, no final words, just steel and blood. And then he's gone. Geralt is left standing over the king's corpse, sword drawn. The flashback ends, we're back in the dungeon. Roach isn't impressed. He says what everyone is thinking. So another Witcher appears, kills the king, and disappears. Convenient. Geralt doesn't argue. He admits he failed, and failure in politics is guilt. As the interrogation continues, fragments of Geralt's lost memory resurface. Triss Marigold, political forces pulling strings, Witchers being used as tools, Geralt admits, "I don't remember everything," and quietly adds, "That doesn't make me a murderer." But it doesn't save him either. Geralt is convenient, disposable, different. Roach doesn't free Geralt because he believes him. He frees him because Geralt is useful. Geralt escapes execution, not justice. He leaves the dungeon alive, but condemned. Free only as long as he hunts the real assassin. And with that, The Witcher 2 makes its promise. This isn't a story about heroes. It's a story about survival in a world where truth is optional. Geralt escapes execution, not justice. He leaves the dungeon alive, but condemned. Free only as long as he hunts the real assassin. And with that, The Witcher 2 makes its promise. This isn't a story about heroes. It's a story about survival in a world where truth is optional. By the time the prologue of The Witcher 2 Assassins of Kings ends, something subtle but important has already happened. The game has taught you how this world works. Not through exposition, not through lore dumps, but through consequence. Geralt doesn't escape his cell because the truth is discovered. He escapes because the truth is useful, and that distraction matters more than any sword fight or political revelation that follows. The assassination of King Foltest is not treated as a tragic turning point for the realm, but as an opportunity, an opening, a vacuum waiting to be filled. In that vacuum, facts lose their weight. What remains are stories, and whoever controls the most believable one wins. Geralt's greatest flaw in the world isn't that he's dangerous, it's that he's convenient. Convenient to blame, convenient to discard, convenient to weaponize. He stands at the center of events without ever truly belonging to them. Too skilled to ignore, too different to trust. His reputation precedes him, and his silence condemns him more than any confession could. And that's why the framing of the prologue matters so much. The story isn't told as it happened, it's told as it's interrogated. Pressured, filtered through suspicion, every flashback is shaped by the understanding that the outcome is already decided. In The Witcher 2, guilt isn't determined by truth, it's determined by timing, fear, and political necessity. King Foltest dies not as a legend, but as a liability. His final moments don't inspire unity or reflection, they inspire maneuvering. Power doesn't mourn, it relocates. And Geralt, as always, is caught in the gears. What makes the prologue so powerful isn't the twist of the second Witcher, or even the shock of regicide. It's the quiet realization that doing the right thing offers no protection in this world. Skill doesn't earn loyalty, honesty doesn't guarantee safety. Survival does. By the time Geralt walks free, he isn't absolved, he's enlisted. His life spared not out of mercy, but strategy. By the time Geralt walks free, he isn't absolved, he's enlisted. His life spared not out of mercy, but strategy. His sword remains drawn not for justice, but leverage. And that sets the tone for everything that follows. Because The Witcher 2 is not asking whether Geralt is innocent, it's asking whether innocence matters at all. In a world ruled by kings, armies, and fear, the answer is already written. And if you made it to the end of the video, thank you for watching, and thank you to all that have liked my videos and subscribed. If you would like to see the entirety of Chapter 1 as a video, let me know in the comments. Other than that, thank you all so much, and see you in the next video.